Hey, there we are. Up and running. Good evening. Welcome back to Thursday night. You know what that means. I was talking about best baits for the weekend, current fishing conditions up here around Lake Fork and across East Texas. And of course, I'm going to answer all your questions, fishing or just whatever you'd like to ask this guy. But, hey, there's been a bit of weather event occurring. We had unbelievable amounts of rainfall across the majority of the state of Texas this week. Lake Fork was no exception. It did not flood. We don't have a major river running through Fork, so it doesn't jump up as quick. But still, with that amount of rain, there was a lot of color change in the backs of the creeks. The lake did rise a significant amount. It's definitely changed the fishing. The fishing after that front was getting really pretty good. Fish were grouping up in the backs of creeks. They were grouping up offshore. They were starting to do their fall thing, which I was getting ready. They were ready to settle in for it. And now there's been, a lot of those fish, especially the back of the creek fish and even the offshore fish, have kind of spread back out, split back up again. But they're trying to come back together as we speak. And I would anticipate that, as they say, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, by the end of next week, it should be really good. There's some fish to be caught out there right now. It's just you can't catch them in big numbers like we were starting to be able to at the end of last week. So, that being all said, get the comments open, see who's joining us tonight real quick. All right, JD's in here. Kevin Van Dam. My boy Kevin Van Dam joining us as usual on the live stream. I always like to see old KVD up in here. a lot of the regs. We didn't do any social media promotion of the live stream tonight, so not quite as many as we've been having, but doesn't matter because you guys know how I feel about it. I may not have the biggest audience, but I do have the best, and I will give you my best. So let's break right off into the top 5 baits for this week, and this is one that I'm really excited about it being in here. 6 Cents Movement 80X. Man, love this bait. They're really starting to bite it day in, day out. Just a bait that gets me real excited. Crankbaits are phenomenal in the fall for me. Always have been. Little teaser here. This will not be the only crankbait that makes the top 5 tonight, if you know what I mean. But this right here is one of my faves. So that's number 1, and that's going to be that's number 1 in my roster and number 1 in my heart. You know what I mean? I love that bait. So we're going to look forward to using that one. Definitely get you some 6 Cents Movement 80Xs. If you go to order them on 6centsfishing.com, be sure to punch in that code, Your Lake Fork Guide, and you get a 10% discount on all orders. Lipless crankbait. Somebody said lipless crankbait, turn it on. We were catching a lot of fish on the 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. They're biting this a little better right now. They are biting the lipless crankbait, but this week they're kind of probably some dirty water. This has a lot more thump to it, a lot more wobble. All the rain we had has changed the water color, and so that's probably why, but they're biting this a little better right now. But lipless crankbait is definitely a factor. Somehow it's not in my top 5. I'm really trying to cater this towards Berkeley guys because I know there's a lot of you guys fishing the Berkeley tournament this week, and you can't fish the 6 Cents Movement 80X, but get you a Pure Fishing, some sort of Berkeley branded square bill and go to work with that. Number 2, chatterbait. Old chatterbait. And I'm actually using the smash tail for the trailer right now. I'm trying to imitate a shad, like a big mature threadfin shad profile as much as possible. And this one does a really good job of that on this chatterbait right here with the smash tail. Junior is the trailer. And then keeping with the old smash tail theme, well, we did better for a while, and they kicked us off again. So I'm assuming you guys saw the chatterbait. The chatterbait brand was a jackhammer, evergreen jackhammer, smash tail junior on it. The color was a custom color that I hand tied the skirt on. It's just chartreuse and blue on top, white on bottom. We're also throwing this one. Got the nose bit off it because we had to put it on here after catching some fish on it today. But this is the regular smash tail. Throwing this on the 5/0 on a flashy swimmer. We had been throwing the Smash Tail Junior, the smaller one, but now they're starting to bite the bigger one. And anytime I can get them to bite the bigger one, I'd rather throw it. So we got that going on. Whoa. We got train wrecks happening in my house right now. Number 4, Wacky Worm. Wacky Rig Trick Worm, Watermelon Candy. It's been the best color for me. Using the Gamakatsu Finesse White Get Weedless hook. Using that. All these baits we're using shallow around grass. And I'll tell you guys the top secret trick for right now this weekend is to fish the more smaller main lake type pockets that have grass in it and not get in the backs of those creeks that got blown out by all this rain and new water that got real muddy. We're catching many more fish in the smaller pockets than we are in the backs of the creeks. Somebody said it looks like a Kitech. It might look like a Kitech, but it does not swim like a Kitech. I like a Kitech as well. I use both, but that is the Smash Tail by Smash Tech. Alright, I told you there was another crankbait coming. For all my guys that want to try to win the Berkeley tournament out deep, man, get yourself a big old crankbait. I know you can't use this one. This is the 6 Cents C25 9 series in a citrus shad color, but they're biting the old big crankbait out deep a little bit. So go get yourself a crankbait. So go get yourself a big old crankbait like this one right here, citrus shad. The biggest, deepest diving crankbait you can, and grind it in anywhere from 16 to 20 feet seems to be the key depth. Road beds, points, pond dams, all that stuff. Remember, those fish are more spread out. This is not the summertime deal where you're going to catch a whole bunch of fish on these big crankbaits, but there are some really quality fish. Never know. DSL. My internet is actually fiber optic. I'm fed up with my provider. It's like every night in prime time the internet sucks all of a sudden. Anyways, number 1 advice for fishing offshore, big crankbait. Now that we got that out of the way, my goodness, my Wi-Fi is a train wreck. I hate my Wi-Fi. I don't understand because my Wi-Fi worked just fine a few weeks ago, and now all of a sudden, the Wi-Fi is just terrible. Go ahead and get yourself some 6 fishing apparel like this fine hat. You can hang crankbaits from it, keep it right in front of your face. That's what you want to do to a bass, by the way. Whatever lure you're fishing, you want to try and get it in their face, just like this, and just let it hang there for as long as possible. And it's only a matter of time before it's going to irritate him, and he doesn't have hands to slap it, so he just bites it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right. If you guys got some questions, now would be the time to drop them in there. Love to answer as many as possible for you. It's been fun tonight, boys. I'm going to leave the rest of this crazy live stream with this crankbait hanging from my face. Just because, why not at this point? I mean, with the train wreck that I have for Wi-Fi. I hope this helps. Billy, when's your next opening in November? You know what? I got a handy-dandy book right here. Let's see. My next opening in November is November 12th. Also have the 13th and the 15th that week. And then, yeah, just some scattered dates the rest of the month after that. So, if you're interested in some November fishing dates, I got about 7 or so days left. 2 full days? Yeah, 12th and 13th. I think, right? Isn't that what I just said? What kind of rods am I fishing these days? I'm fishing the 6 Cents series Lux fishing rods. If you'd like to purchase some, go to 6centsfishing.com. Be sure to punch in that code Your Lake Fort Guide on the checkout screen. Get yourself a 10% discount on all orders. The Movement 80X is a little bit bigger bodied crankbait, but you do catch little fish to big fish. I've caught a lot of really big fish. It does tend to get a bigger bite than average, but I've also caught a lot of small fish on it as well. Any tips for river-fed lakes? Yeah, if you're trying to fish a river-fed lake in the state of Texas right now, I got a tip for you. Go see a psychiatrist because you're out of your freaking mind because every river in the state of Texas is flooded. What's your best bait for shallow grass? Right now, the water has come up over the top of a lot of it, and you can work this over the top, and that's my best bait around shallow grass right now. 6 cents Movement 80X, or, you know, a square bill if you like. Next chip comes out November 1st. That is correct. The next Guide in the Graph map chip with those fishing spots with the information on them comes out on November 1st. It'll be for November and December, and that will be the final one for this year. Oh, I just hooked myself in the leg. Ow. What's my favorite color to use for plastic worms? Overall, day in, day out, no matter what body of water I'm on, probably green pumpkin. That particular Movement 80, somebody asked what color that was on the Movement 80X. Let me make sure we got this on there good so I don't hook myself in the leg again. That particular color was Shad Drone. They discontinued that color. The color I'm using a lot now is Wild Shad. Is the water on Fork stained bad? No, just in the very backs of creeks. It got stained really bad in the backs of creeks, but all that grass in the backs of those creeks is kind of acting like a wall, keeping it from coming down the lake. So the main lake and a lot of the smaller pockets on the main lake are they're not bad at all. Is the water clearing up in those creeks? Not really, not yet. It'll take probably at least a week for it to really start getting better back there. If the sun comes out this weekend, will it hurt the shallow bite? No, it won't. The water temps are, some of those backs of creeks are all the way down in the 50s for water temp. So, no, the sun's not going to help. It will help the bite, not hurt it. It's a 6 cents infomercial. The 6 cents crankbait, the 6 cents hat, the 6 cents rods, baby. You get it all from 6 cents. Have I been to Toledo Bend lately? I have not been to Toledo Bend in a year and a half, unfortunately, which kind of breaks my heart and hurts my feelings because I love Toledo Bend. What are the water temps looking like right now? Well, the main lake water temps are in the 60s firmly, and the very backs of some of the shallows creek has gotten all the way down into the 50s, the upper 50s. So, yeah, kind of upper 60s on the main lake is about the highest you'll find, and most of the shallow water is in the lower half of the 60s, and then a few select areas are in the upper 50s. So, good question, because there's been a lot of change. It's been a crazy week. I mean, I don't know what, something's always just right in front of my face, right in my way. I can't get it out of my way, but it's been a lot of changes going on around Lake Fork, guys. Good luck to the Berkeley guys, man. It's going to be a bit of a grind. You know, like I said, the fish are spread out, but the fish are trying to feed. Like, they are trying to do their fall thing. You can find some isolated areas that even have good schooling activity with good-sized fish. So, it should be fun for you guys. It'll be good weather on Saturday and Sunday, I think. Any more questions? Throw them in there. Drop them in the old comments, as they say. What's my 7-iron of fishing? That's fishing rods. Something around the 7-foot range, medium heavy, is like really, really versatile. You know, that's always like anything in the 7, 7.2, 7.3, medium heavy, you can do a lot of different things. Have I ever used Dobbins Champion rods? I absolutely have used Dobbins Champion rods. I used to be on the Dobbins Pro staff, you might say. Anyone know if you can fish a jig in the Berkeley tournament? I read you have to use a Berkeley skirt. They don't make jigs. Doesn't Berkeley make some jigs? They don't make jigs? I thought they made jigs. What's going on with the crankbait? My life is crazy. My Wi-Fi sucks. The water's rising. Everything's dirty. So we're just hanging crankbaits off our hats because it seems like it makes about as much sense as everything else going on. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, by the way. The 7.5 heavy with the moderate tip, in the 6 cents line of rods, that's my favorite one. It's the most versatile one in theirs. I need to repeat these questions so the people watching. It's helping the Wi-Fi. The crankbait's helping the Wi-Fi. That's right. This is my Wi-Fi signal receiver right here. 100%. Is mid-lake best? Yeah, mid-lake. Yeah, mid-lake is kind of where I focused the last couple days, kind of where I've dialed into. It's definitely helping. That's right. So now I have to wear this crankbait on my hat, like every live stream, because it helps the Wi-Fi signal. Get your Redneck Wi-Fi booster at 6centsfishing.com and be sure to punch in that code. Man, I'll tell you, when you can laugh at yourself like this, it's a good day, boys. See if I missed any questions up here. I'm sure that I did. Rally cap, Wi-Fi, crankbait. Speaking of that, my Stros, everybody say a little baseball prayer from my Houston Astros, man. I grew up down there around Houston, and Conroe is the area I grew up in. And a huge Astros fan from back in all the way back in the Glenn Davis days and Mike Scott and all that. But Biggio was my favorite player as a kid, or my favorite Houston Astros player for sure, all time is Biggio. Yeah, say a little prayer for my boys tonight because they're going to need it. Don't swallow a hook. I could sell these to all my... I know, I need to put a little Your Lake Fort Guy logo like right there and then sell these to all my neighbors that have bad Wi-Fi. You're right. Berkley soft plastic. Berkley has... So here's my number one Berkley soft plastic pick. Berkley has a little swim bait that looks an awful lot like the Smash Tail, and it looks an awful lot like a Kitech. If I was fishing around shallow grass, I would be throwing that little Berkley swim bait a bunch, boys, just FYI. Also, they got some stick baits that are pretty good that you can rig up wacky worm style. That's catching fish around the grass as well. Ben Shobe ask, with the muddy pockets, are you spending more time out deep or still trying for grass fish? Now, the pockets aren't muddy. The backs of the creeks got real muddy, but there's a lot of pockets further out closer to the main lake that don't get as much flow, that the water stayed really clean in. That's actually where I'm spending the vast majority of my time. The deep fish got spread out as well. They're not grouped up like they were. They're kind of spread out in pods and individual fish. And that's why this thing is a big player, because you can cover a lot more ground in that deep water. With this, you can cover a wide area of a big point or a wide area of a big roadbed and grind it out and get some key bites right here. But it's just one at a time. It's not like you're catching a school of fish like you do in the summer. Right now, it's just kind of one at a time. But on that big crankbait, you never know when an absolute monster is going to jump on there. Like, I don't know what kind of deep diving big crankbaits Berkley has, but if somebody puts that in their hands for 2 days and stays around some productive areas, they have as good a chance to win that thing as anybody, I would think. It'll probably be one on a 10-inch bluefat power worm, though, because that's what it's won on like every year out here. Congrats on the 10K. Oh, yeah, hey, guess what happened yesterday, guys? The channel hit 10,000 subs, man. Thank y'all so much. I know that's a small number in the grand scheme of things, but it's a big deal to me. I did not ever think it would get there. I never set out for it to get there, but it's an awesome... It's really cool to think 10,000 people subscribe to my channel. That's insane when you start really thinking about that. There's 10,000 people out there that watch your stuff. That's crazy. Are the lakes turning over? Any bit of turnover that was left hanging on has been washed down the river this week, if you know what I'm saying, in the state of Texas. Somebody asked if the lakes are turning over in Texas. Not anymore. A Berkley Dredger 25.5 is awesome. Man, I would stick that thing in my hands all weekend if I was trying to win this tournament. I'm just saying. Where and how can I find and fish the Wolfpacks, the groups of big girls? Well, the big crankbait, which the guy right below you gave you a good crankbait. Berkley Dredger 25.5. So that apparently is a good big crankbait from Berkley. And 16 to 20 feet and just bounce that thing off the bottom. And, road beds are good right now. Points, pond dams, stuff like that. I mean, just typical offshore stuff. There's kind of some fish on all of it. The main thing is finding the huge amounts of bait that are stacked up out there. If that's around, those bass are somewhere on that structure. Use your electronics till you find a few of them, and you might only see 2 or 3 of them, and then you just grind them to death and fish all that whole piece of structure with that crankbait till you get a reaction or two. Hey, Billy, I missed a lot of fish on a jerkbait. I changed the hooks and even the rod, but no better help. Well, did you change colors? Did you change size profiles? Probably the size profile is your deal. A lot of times in the fall, especially shallow fish that's going to eat a jerkbait, is going to be around sometimes very, very small bait fish. So that jerkbait profile may have been getting a reaction out of them, but it wasn't the right size profile, so they wouldn't commit to it and actually get the bait. So that may be the next time you're in that situation, try changing your size profile on your jerkbaits. What kind of line am I running my deep divers on? On fork, I use 20-pound fluorocarbon because I'm not, like this crankbait, I only need to get 17, 18, 19 foot deep to hit the bottom of where I'm fishing. And this crankbait more than does that. So I use 20-pound fluorocarbon, and it works out really good. Plus, I got really strong line. I don't have to worry about breaking off, all that good stuff. Have I ever came down to Florida and fished Kissimmee or Okeechobee? Okeechobee is 1,000% at the top of my bucket list, but I've never fished in Florida, period, actually. What color swim baits? Sexy Shad. It's called El Guapo from Smash Tech, but the Berkeley version is called Sexy Shad. Daggum crankbait locked the Wi-Fi in. Cold, son. Got it going on good. Come hang with us in Florida? Man, I would love to. Someday, one of these days, hopefully maybe in the next couple of years, I would love to get down to Florida and do some fishing. Do a little meetup with all the Florida folks that watch the Year Lake, with like all 5 of you Floridians that are watching me over there. I'd love to meet every one of you. So, you know, I've had some saltwater experience, but not in Florida. But I used to live in coastal South Carolina, right just north of Savannah, Georgia, so right close to the Georgia line in the Hilton Head Island area. Did a lot of inshore saltwater fishing there when I was there. It was a lot of fun. Come fish the Goat Lake Pickwick. All right, I'll get right on that, KVD. Oh, KVD's always causing problems in here. I love KVD. He's the best. What's the top bait for Lake Fork right now? Crankbaits. It's all about crankbaits for me right now. That's my number one pick up shallow. That's my number one pick out deep. Is the Divine Swim Jig working in shallow grass? Probably. I don't know why I haven't thrown it. I just haven't really thrown it yet very much. I should be. Fall's a great time to throw that thing, and I just haven't. You know what? I'm going to throw a swim jig tomorrow. Thank you, Blake Horton. Appreciate that. Good looking out, playa. Have I been to Richland Chambers? I've never been to Richland Chambers. Quick recap of the top 5. 6 Sense Movement, whoa, 6 Sense Movement 80X, shallow crankbait, chatterbait in shad pattern, little weedless smash tail swim bait in Sexy Shatter El Guapo, wacky worm and watermelon candy. And if you want to go out deep and try to win the old Berkeley tournament this weekend, get a big old deep diving crankbait and citrus shad and go get after it. When is my buddy Mike going to start a YouTube channel? When he gets off his lazy butt and does it, I guess. I don't know. He keeps saying he's going to, and then he doesn't. You never know. I mean, he's from California, so, I mean, who knows? I'm just kidding. Mike's an awesome, phenomenal guy, but you never do quite know what's going through his head, I will tell you that. Hey, Billy, if the lake turns over, can you smell the water? Sometimes when it turns over really hard, you do get a little bit of a sulfurish type smell going on. Any idea what lake levels are looking like? By my best assumption from what I saw today, it ain't far from full. Maybe 6 or 8 inches low, probably something like that. But it's getting really close. What do I think about the MLF thing? I think it's long overdue and still has not changed enough as far as the pay structure goes. Anytime, and this has been the case for the last forever now, but anytime you're ranked number 50 in the world at what you do for a profession, and you got to wonder how you're going to pay your bills, man, there's a problem. And then the organization that's paying you is clearing $27 million a year in profit, there's an issue. And that was the case with BASS, and they never changed it because they didn't have to, and they were just raping those guys and raking the money in and just really screwing the anglers over. You know, not their top-tier guys. The top-tier guys were fine. But the meat and potatoes of the guys providing their product were getting screwed big time. And so the MLF, in my opinion, is just the first step in righting the ship for tournament fishermen. There's a reason I've never even considered pursuing tournament fishing as a career, because it's suicide. Unless you're one of the top 15 guys in the world, something like that, you're broke. I mean, you're sometimes beyond broke. Some guys are losing money. That's insane. They're one of the best in the world at what they do, and they're losing money. And the organization paying them is making all that money. Man, Bass has been screwing those guys for a long time, and they, whatever happens to them, if they fold, they kind of deserve it, honestly, in my opinion. I hear his Wi-Fi. I don't know who. Oh, Mike. Yeah, Mike's Wi-Fi is worse than mine. Like, there would be no live streaming for Mike. I can promise you that. Do I prefer fork to be at full pull or low levels? Full pull for the health of the fishery. Low levels for the ease of catching. When I say low, like, I either want it to be full, or I want it to be like 6 or 8 foot low, like all-time lows. I would prefer one or the other, like either 6 foot low or deep or worse, or flat full pull. But for the health of the fishery, I'd rather be full pull all the time. And I have KVD watching my live show. I know I am officially, I done hit 10K yesterday, balling out till you fall out. I got KVD watching the live stream every week. I mean, there's big things happening around here. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but I'm kind of a big deal. I have an apartment that smells of rich mahogany, many leather-bound books. I mean, people know me. I hope all you realize, for those of you that don't watch the channel regularly that might see this on the replay, I do not take myself very seriously at all, and that was completely sarcastic and a joke. Oh, Fishing Freak Gomez. Boston's already scored a run on Verlander. Oh, jeez. Great. Awesome. I hate the Astros. Well, I should say I hate to love the Astros. What days is Berkeley going? I ain't trying to get run over. That's from Ben Show, who fishes out of a kayak. That's Saturday and Sunday, Ben. Saturday and Sunday this weekend is Berkeley, and you would be best advised to not have a kayak out there, buddy. Might go somewhere else in the old yak. Well, all right, guys. I guess we're going to wrap it on up. It has been a lively, fun one tonight. Apologize for the Wi-Fi signals earlier in the evening, but I will wear a crankbait on my hat from now on to make sure we have a good Wi-Fi signal, because apparently this is the old redneck Wi-Fi booster 2.0 right here. Don't forget I have a crankbait on my hat. I'm going to try to not forget. I've been wearing it for a while now. Appreciate that, Ricky Moore. Good looking out. Way to have you boys back. Hey, man, thank you guys so much. If you do go to 6 Cents Fishing, buy up them crankbaits, buy up them fishing rods. It is a crankbait time of year. I'm telling you guys, every fall I lean on a crankbait real hard. So get to 6 Cents Fishing. Punch in that code, your Lake Fork Guide, on the promo box on the checkout screen. Get that 10% discount. Love you guys, man. Y'all are the best. 10K, just the beginning. See you next time, right here on your Lake Fork Guide.